I would do a skit where I just take off my shirt and just like scream. But I'm not really muscular, nor do I have a wig. But yeah, I saw Rambo Last Blood. I enjoyed it very much. And the low critical reception, well, other Rambo movies have low critical reception and they could kiss my ass. Well, okay, maybe except Rambo 3. It's not really. I mean, aside from the final act, it's not really that great. But finally, CinemaSins is taking a shot at First Blood, the movie that started the series off. And I really enjoyed that movie. And it's probably one of those instances where I discovered the M60. It's one of my favorite weapons of all time.
Wait, no logos? Nothing to sit in the first few seconds? Does not compute hit getting tight. Whenever Andrew Vanya's name pops up on the screen, I can't be the only one who sees vagina, can I? Just me? Okay then. Sin on me, I guess. Rambo movie title refuses to properly Rambo.
Can you tell me this is where Delmar Barry lives?
Look, I knew it was a different time, but seriously, not one of these kids is slightly suspicious of the Rambo hobo that's just wandering into their yard?
And there's Delmar, right in the back.
Delmar's gone.
What time will he be back?
He died.
Damn woman, talk about burying the lead. You let John go through all this backstory before you drop this bomb on him? This entrance to the town is way more confusing than it needs to be. What do the two different years signify? One side was built in 1858 and the other in 1958? And the town is called Holidayland or Hope? One started about Schmidt and the other's an amusement park, for crying out loud.
You know, wearing that flag on that jacket, looking the way you do, you're asking for trouble around here, friend.
I can't tell if Teasel's warning this poor bastard or propositioning him.
Is there any law against me getting something here?
Yeah, me.
I know Teasel being a dick to Rambo is the basis for this story, but I've never understood why he was such a fucking dick to Rambo. Sure, he looks a little ratty, but he's literally passing through. If FX here didn't with him, the town would be just as safe as it was this morning. Also, he doesn't even look that bad. Sure, I guess he could use a shave and a haircut, but it's not like he's visibly dirty, and his clothes look a little worn, but overall fine. My point is that if you're gonna set Rambo up to be a bum that up right. This movie has nothing to do with Christmas, except the setting. So please give me an argument that First Blood is a Christmas movie, and shut the up about Die Hard already.
Well, it's got a little bit of snow. It's got cold weather. It's got Santa Claus advertising Coca-Cola on a billboard in one or two shots near the end. It's got murder. Well, okay, murdering dogs and unintentionally killing the cop who just fell off the side of the helicopter. I never seen Die Hard, but I'm just gonna consider this a great Christmas movie. First Blood. Kiss my ass.
Why the hell don't you paint it your damn self?
Come on, Leroy, sling that paint, boy.
I'm not saying this is terrible ADR, but I am saying it sounds like they recorded it using audience members at a test screening who were asked to shout out what the characters were saying.
Oh, wait a second.
Discount David Caruso? Holy shit, that is actual David Caruso.
Hey, you got 3 seconds before I break your face in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm being overly literal here, but that was uncomfortably much longer than this butthole would have given Rambo.
I'm starting to dislike you.
And I'm starting to notice that everyone in this goddamn department is a prickly dick. Isn't there one person in this office that doesn't have a raging torture boner right now?
As things stand right.
Yes, there is one, but he's just overshadowed. Like, he's like, how blind are you? Can't you see this guy's crazy? But nobody gives a shit, and for some reason that cop doesn't just leave or stay behind, and Rambo just hits him.
now. You're facing the ass end of a 90-day incarceration.
The ass end of a 90-day incarceration? The does that even mean? God damn, this is a waste of water. That's a fire hose. This is why you eventually had drought in California. Also, what kind of regular-ass police station has a fire hose hooked up on the inside? The would they ever use that for, other than humiliating runway models for derelict? Also, what's this scene here for anyway? Why are they so obsessed with cleaning him off at all? It's not like he needs to be clean for the rest of this story to happen. Basically, what I'm saying is Sly wanted an excuse to show off his ass, and this was the only chance. Honestly, I can't blame him. That's a good
can't see it.
How blind are you? Can't you see this guy's crazy?
Can't you see I don't give a...
Clearly, this was the only character description given in the script for Galt.
You're just gonna shave your partner. Take it easy.
With a fucking straight razor. Look, I know regular ass Bics were in heavy rotation in the early 80s, so this is some plot convenient grooming. What was this guy waiting for? I see that my colleague is getting beat up pretty bad, but I'm pretty sure he'll turn the tables before he gets punched out of that window. Huh, guess not. Okay, better get up and mildly protest now. The shortest path between 2 points apparently involves climbing onto, then off of the corner of this patrol car's hood. How long has weed been legal in Washington? Because considering this asshole in the car barely notices the dude in the tank top running right in front of him on the street and tackling a motorcyclist, he's gotta be high as But why? There's no traffic on the actual road. Damn, how has this restaurant not been sued to hell for appropriating the name and exact design of The Godfather? He popped a fucking wheelie during this tense high-speed pursuit. What is this, a fucking Fast and Furious prequel? Okay, I'm officially past the idea that Teasel's pissed about Rambo kicking his team's ass and now convinced he always wanted to play the most dangerous game and finally got the chance. Where's Rambo even going right now? He's pretty well hidden in the woods, so really this is the time to chill with the loud bike motor. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if Teasel just let him go now? Then Rambo would eventually wander onto a ranch where Rosanna Arquette lives and help her stop Ted Levine and Joss Ackland from taking her property from her for their own nefarious developing plans. We call it Nowhere to Rambo. God damn it, this is supposed to be the smartest, most resourceful soldier of all time. So what the is this?
Tell them to bring the Dobermans. It's gonna rain. We'll need dogs that can hunt on sight.
For a small, boring town, they sure do have a large police force and various breeds of dogs depending on the terrain and weather conditions when they need to track a fugitive.
If they give him any tell them to cite him for obstruction right on the spot.
Sheriff Dickface isn't happy enough just to be a dickety dick to Rambo, so anyone within his dickful radius is gonna get dicked. Dick. The good, the bad, and the frumpy. How long has Rambo been out here? It must have been a while for Orville and his dogs to get ready and go on the hunt, and the whole unit has remobilized. Shouldn't Rambo have had enough time to really settle in, or at least look at his options for escape? They're acting like they're immediately hot on his trail. Cliffhanger 1982.
By the way, Jeremy missed the part where at one shot it was kind of sunny and the pan up to the sky where it's kind of sort of blue with a little bit of cloud. But for the rest of the shots, it's just cloudy and cold as fuck.
You don't buy this thing, right? I swear to God, I will kill you.
This pilot is way too casually accepting of this threat.
Yeah.
Just trying to full-on murder someone. Normal Tuesday. Looks like someone brought a rock to a gunfight. Wait, that fucking worked? Man, I know that old dude couldn't do his own stunts, but the level of effort put into the stand-in looking like the real actor is laughable in this fucking thing. Stitcher!
I didn't do anything!
Rambo survives all of this.
I knew there was something about that guy.
Unfortunately, this is what Ronnie Yuskel said about David Caruso's performance in this movie when he was casting Jade. From the looks of it, I bet you Mitch is on his way to getting an epic swirly.
But I'm gonna get that son of a bitch, and I'm gonna pin that Congressional Medal of Honor to his liver.
What a hilariously specific threat.
Don't fire this guy, for Christ's sake! Keep your eyes open!
And keep your voice loud! If anything's gonna flush this motherfucker out, it's definitely our constant shouting at each other. Man, this small-ass town has so many automatic weapons, they ought to be in a Rambo movie or something.
Yeah, here's something I saw a clip of the first Terminator movie when the Terminator is finally a guest character for MK11. And back in the 80s and 90s, apparently cops use submachine guns. Like, is that a thing? Or was that a thing? Because I'm pretty sure that cops nowadays, they definitely use pistols and maybe bits of shotguns here or there, but not machine guns or... Does cops use machine guns anymore? I mean submachine guns, sorry. Submachine guns. Do they use like M60s anymore? Or is that the National Guard's job now? Because of First Blood.
Hunting him? He's hunting us.
Mitch is right, but how does he know this? The thing in the ravine was clearly an accident, and who knows what the that was back at the Scarecrow. Walking, still walking. Excitement?
Will, it's Mitch!
I can tell by the high-pitched, almost feminine screaming. He is the one.
I got him! I got him!
How could he think for 1 second he shot Rambo? He could clearly see Rambo, so he can also clearly see his own man that he shot behind him. Cool. Looks like Rambo also used to work at a pastry shop before joining the Hunger Games.
Don't push it, I'll give you a war you won't believe.
Like the one with the roses that ended with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas hanging from a chandelier. Weird like that. Got it?
Let it go.
Oh no, please don't use that clip. Don't use
Do you
it.
want to build a snowman?
Shit!
Local members of the National Guard are now being mobilized.
This
Oh my gosh. Did they seriously have to reference Frozen? Frozen isn't that good. Sorry, it just isn't. It will never compare to The Lion King. There, I said it.
This news position is so forced and obvious that it might as well be shown broadcasting in a crowded bar at an inappropriately high volume.
Never possessed God in heaven to make a man like Rambo.
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
There's convenient timing, there's dramatic timing, and there's this ridiculous convergence of the two. Has Troutman been waiting around the tent until the perfect time to reveal himself?
We're a little busy this morning, Colonel. What can I do for you?
Troutman literally just said he knew John Rambo personally. Teasel really wants to just shoo him off with a "we're busy" speech?
Okay, Colonel. Now you got us all scared to death.
Did Teasel seriously pause to put on this ridiculous coat in mid-conversation with Troutman? The last time he was talking to him, he looked perfectly comfortable, and this has to be the immediate continuation of that discussion.
Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
200? 200? I know they got support from the Stadies and the Guard, but 200? That is a ton of trained people to respond to this one incident in a tiny, unpopulated area. And it's even still the same f***ing day, which is ridiculously fast mobilization. Meanwhile, on Clan of the Cave Bear.
Where'd you come from, sir?
Bragg.
I tried to get in touch with you, but the guys at Bragg never knew where to find you.
Yeah, well, I haven't been spending much time there lately. They've got me down in D.C.
If either one of these locations are true, then how the did Troutman get out here so goddamn fast? The escape happened in the middle of the day, and the attack on the deputies was close to nightfall. But Troutman was able to get all the way out from the East Coast to the Pacific Northwest, then out this far into the countryside before dark?
They drew first blood, not me.
Roll Rambos. I get that Rambo is really f***ing good at what he does, but what are the chances he's right by the exact path they chose to cross? And why is he even still around here? He could be miles away at this point.
I'll get him! I'll get him! Don't shoot! Cool down! This way! Let's go!
Jesus Christ, it's like Richard Donner took over directing this part of the movie and ordered everyone to shout every line.
Raymond? What? I want you to go into that mine.
Oh, not me.
Rambo softened their murder boners that fast? All he did was shoot at the bunker a couple times. These guys may not have seen combat before, but they were all about killing the shit out of Rambo 2 seconds ago.
What's wrong with you, Clinton?
A conversation from the 1992 campaign trail somehow appears in this movie. Or 1996, or 2008, or 2016. There were a lot of times that could have happened.
Buried in a hole by a bunch of goddamn weekend.
Okay, here's another thing. When I was writing fan fiction that's been deleted because it was considered a ripoff, yeah, I had to delete it. The guy who helped me write it, who is an asshole, brought up that there is no way that the National Guard would have RPGs. It's like if military soldiers use AK-47s. But apparently they use RPGs in this movie. So I was thinking about putting an RPG in my story from a National Guard troop once, but apparently some asshole claimed that they would never carry these, even though this movie has the police using M16s, including the military or National Guard, and using the RPG. And again, does the National Guard use RPGs or rocket launchers anymore, or is it a different type of rocket launchers? I'm so confused. Times have changed.
Warriors. Thought you said he was the best you ever trained.
Yeah, but it is a f***ing hole. God damn, the fact that Teasel doesn't even consider the possibility that Rambo escaped into another part of the mine is the silliest part of this f***ing movie.
Killed for vagrancy in Jerkwater, USA.
Oh man, I hear the stores here in Jerkwater are fantastic. Wait, what? This place is a goddamn tinderbox, but you can safely park a flaming torch on the wooden wall for several minutes? Look, I love this movie, but this is entirely too many minutes of stalunking.
What would you have done with him if he came in? Would you wrap your arms around him, give him a big sloppy kiss? Or would you have blown his brains out?
Unfortunately, these were the only two options allowed by criminal law in the 1980s. It was a dark time. Rambo's of the Lost Ark. Also, I don't care how noisy these military trucks are on the inside. You would definitely hear the sound of a grown-ass man jumping on top of it.
What do you got in the back, Robert A?
M60.
Fucking why? This is a reserves truck on a fucking recovery mission. What's the need for an enormous machine gun except for actioning up the end of this otherwise awesome action movie? Once again, this cop car shows up fucking immediately after they get the report that Rambo's on the loose. But in the meantime, the dude has had to trek up the trail a ways. The cop picked him up. The call casually came into dispatch while Deputy Dewey was horking some coffee, and only then was Teasel alerted. Then they found out exactly where the truck was. The cops in this town are fucking magic. Oh man, Rambo has no regard for safety here. The sign clearly says that it can be slippery when frosty. Also, inept cops set up a roadblock and fugitive barrels right through it cliche. So, nobody followed the truck? I know he took out a few cars at the barricade, but not all of them, right? Well, Seneca's used cars and trucks is gonna take a bath on the merchandise, but I bet they will get a nice insurance settlement. I don't know specifically how big a town Hope is, but I guarantee you it's not big enough to justify having 4 gas stations on a tiny city block.
You're gonna die, Teasel.
Everybody dies.
Fun fact, the dialogue from this movie inspired all of REM's output in the 90s.
There's only one man in this room that's got half a chance.
God damn, this will they or won't they bullshit with Teasel and Troutman goes on for longer than Ross and Rachel. Well, someone's getting a lump of coal in their stocking this year. Seriously, man, Rambo's such a dick to Hope that Shepard Fairey has been personally offended by this movie for the last 37 years. The last 4 minutes of this movie, Shepard Fairey...
Shepard Fairey? I'll look that up.
Has been personally offended by this movie for the last 37 years. The last 4 minutes of this movie have solely consisted of Rambo running somewhere and shooting stuff. The one thing Troutman clearly didn't teach him was conserving ammunition. There's so much automatic gunplay in the last few minutes of this movie, it makes the Rambo parody in UHF look borderline legit. Sure, some of the department is busy at the gas station Rambo blew up, but they also have to have heard all the f***ing commotion going on around the rest of the town, and no one checks in on the station. Ryan should be dead a he.
Rambo! Rambo, don't do it!
Where the f*** did Troutman come from?
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off! It wasn't my war!
Holy this movie rules on so many levels. Great action, great setting, excellent villain, and some of Sly's best acting. That's right, in a Rambo movie, motherfuckers. Take a sin off.
Hey man, you know how Rambo 1, he was big with Little Puffy, and then Rambo 2, he got all shredded up?
Are you a person who loves this
You know how...
Considering that this movie was made in the 80s, it's kind of amazing how practical the effects are at the time. Like the gas station on fire, like a gosh darn. And I do like some of the music and the It's a Long Road song. I enjoy that song. I won't lie, it is actually one of my favorite movies. And I enjoyed Rambo 2 with all its action scenes. And Rambo 3 is good only for the third act, unfortunately. And Rambo 4, it's good for a few action scenes. And I have an enormous guilty pleasure with Rambo the video game. Yeah. And my gosh, the M60. That is such a cool ass gun. And the M60E3, I'm not sure if people use that in movies anymore, but I know that when I think of M60, I think of Rambo. Well, that's all I have. Please consider liking and subscribing to my channel if you like what you see, and have a good time.